So today, I want to talk about my favorite truck mod. It's something that I've been getting a lot of questions about, and it only cost me 16 bucks. And I probably use it more than anything else that I've done to my truck. And that is this LED light strip. Now, I put this thing together because I just wanted some really good lighting right here at my tailgate where I do my cooking at camp. And even when I'm at home, I spend a lot of time here doing some truck projects. So we're going to get into this today, how I did it, how I put it together, and then I'm actually going to repeat the process under my hood. So you really don't need too much to do this project, and I'll definitely link everything that I used and everything included in this video in the description so you guys can kind of follow along and find it for yourself. The first thing is, this is the light strip. Now this thing is 16 feet of lights. So far, I don't know, I used maybe 3.5, 4 feet for this little light strip here. Like I said, I'm gonna add this to the area underneath my hood, so that way I've got some working lighting in my engine bay. Give me some light when I go to air up my tires at night when I'm on the trail. And then I'll probably use this as well in my rooftop tent eventually down the road. In addition to that, I think these actually came with it, but this little package of, these are the connectors that connect to your wiring that connects to the lights. So as you can see here, the light strip runs to this light connector right here, and that runs actually this wiring was already here from the camper shell, so I just added some new wire loom right here with these mounts and zip ties and followed the original wire track into the camper shell. So this was all here before I added this light strip, so it didn't really add anything. Okay, and then in here, I just followed that loom down the corner here and followed this down into this section right here. So as you can see here, I've got an entire switch panel that runs to my auxiliary battery. So these are all camp lights right here, and these are my amber backlights. You can see those in a previous video. These are some 12-volt outlets, some USB outlets, and these all go back through here to my auxiliary battery, which is in the back there. So this is my auxiliary battery, and inside there's a fuse box that the wire that goes to power that switch for the light strip is powered to. So like I said a minute ago, you can wire this thing up to a fuse box like I've got it, or you can wire it up to a fused wire like this. Now, if this is the only thing that you're setting up, I've got a lot of different accessories that are running off that fuse box in the dual battery system. But if you're looking to just do this mod, a fused wire like this, which you can get on Amazon, I'll link all this stuff in the description like I said, may be a better solution. So if you're doing this on its own, you're probably going to wire it to a switch that looks a little something like this. Now this gives you the ability to wire your red wire to power, your black wire to ground, and then you're gonna have the red wire that is gonna go to the LED light strip, which we'll show you in a little bit. And then you'll have the ground wire that goes to the battery and the ground wire that goes to the LED strip on the same ground switch, like you see right here. Now that is not how I'm gonna do it today. I actually have an 8-gang switch panel in my cab that we're gonna wire that to. So all we need to do is wire the LED light strip directly from the light strip into the switch panel, and we're good to go. Now, I'm not an electrician or any kind of professional when it comes to this automotive lighting, so I'd absolutely recommend that you guys look up additional videos in addition to this, which I spent plenty of time doing myself before I actually did this project. So yeah, definitely do your research and make some decisions that make sense for you based off of your build. I just want to share something that's worked out really well for me in this video. So with that being said, let's start putting this LED light strip together for the hood of the truck. So this is the switch panel that we're going to be wiring this to. For right now, I'm gonna wire it to this switch right here. This may change for me in the future based off of what kind of changes I make to my truck. For right now, let's pop the hood. All right, this is where we're actually gonna wire the light strip to. But first, I gotta decide where exactly on the hood I want this thing. I've got a couple options. I can run it like vertically, or I can maybe run it horizontally. I'm thinking maybe horizontally. Okay, so I'm taking some measurements on exactly about how long I want this thing to be, and I think I've settled on around 32 inches. So we're gonna need to cut the wire strip to be able to make that work for us. So every 3 inches on this thing, there is a spot where you can cut these, and obviously it won't disrupt how this works. So it definitely doesn't have to be exactly 32 inches, but we're gonna try to get close to 32 inches, and we're gonna make a cut. All right. So it's looking like right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a cut. I'm just gonna use my wire crimpers for this one. Boom. So this is gonna be our little LED light strip. What's cool is this has got some 3M adhesive on the back. So after we get this thing all wired up and connected, really all we need to do is clean off the area that we want to mount this, and we're good to go. So these are the little LED connectors, and you can kind of see these two little prongs here. That is what's gonna connect on these two little dots right here. And that's what's going to make the connection from the wire to the battery. So what we're doing is I'm peeling back the gel on this thing just a little bit so that I can get a good solid connection with these prongs. You got positive, negative. I'm gonna slide this guy in there. Very good. Close that guy up. Go. All right, now I'm just gonna take these little crimp connectors and attach these guys to each side so that way we can add in our 18 gauge wire. All right, so these are all wired up now, and the little heat shrink on the butte connections so that way these are nice and sealed. So I've got some alcohol wipes that I'm just gonna use to kind of wipe down the area and clean off all the dust and grime of where this thing's going real quick. Let that dry for a minute, and then we'll throw it on. Okay, so it's time for the moment of truth. At the switch panel, I've got this thing all wired up now, and I think I've got everything ready to go, so we're gonna flip the switch and see how this thing works. I see some light. Wow, quite a difference. Now, I've been using this little Olight flashlight for a long time because it's got the magnetic backing on it, and so I'm able to attach it to the bottom of my hood and give me some work lighting, but it just was never quite what I was looking for. So, man, this is quite the upgrade for the hood. So I still got to get things kind of cleaned up and buttoned up and get these wires tucked away a little bit better. I'll probably add some wire loom to this guy later, so that way it gets all covered and it's nice and kind of protected from the elements and whatnot. So I will be taking care of this later, but for right now, I'm just gonna add some zip ties to this thing, get it tucked away nice and neatly, and then call it a day. I'd really like to know what you guys think. Now, obviously, this is the hood, and I'll have to kind of let you guys know how well this holds up with the adhesive. It's not a perfect straight line because I don't have a perfect flat surface on the back of the hood where I've actually mounted this thing. So I'll have to let you know how well it holds. I've got some really strong adhesive that I'm gonna add to this, and like just some areas to kind of make sure that it holds in place really nicely. But you know, obviously stay connected with the channel if this is a modification that you're interested in. The one that I can vouch for is the one that's back here. One of the things I really like about these strips is, like, normally if you're using like a headlight or a lantern, but like your beam gets obstructed by your hand or something you're working with, your light it's toast, it's not good, you can't really see what you're doing. But here you've got lights all the way across, and so really nothing is obstructing that light. Like, you can still have really good visibility. So that's something that I really, really like. Overall, at least back here, this has been my favorite mod that I've done to my truck so far. Really interested in hearing what you guys think about it. And then obviously I'll keep you guys updated on how the hood situation is working. Right now I got it hooked up to my switch panel. The only problem that I may have with that is if I'm working on something on my truck where I need to disconnect the battery, I'm not going to be able to use that. And so I may do its own dedicated switch that's directly connected to the battery in the future if I'm experiencing that kind of problem, but we'll just have to see how it goes. But that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. I hope to see you out there, and we'll catch you in the next one.